All right, welcome back to the Artist Connection podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kasar, with a very special guest today, musician Jacob Bunton. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. How are you, Matt?
Oh, I'm doing great. Fourth anniversary of this show, so having you as a special guest means the world to me. So thanks for taking time to be here.
Well, man, congratulations on 4 years. Your show has lasted more than probably 80% of marriages in the
That's true. That's true. Well,
Yes, indeed.
I want to talk about you. I mean, your career goes back to 1995. At least your professional, maybe professional career. I'd like to know before that as well. But reading your bio and what I was able to find online is just fascinating because to me it speaks of just I don't want this to sound cliche, but a rock and roll survivor. I mean, you've had your ups and downs, and you keep coming back for more, and you keep changing it up, and you're here, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here making the music that you're making, and no matter who you're making it with, I'm glad that guys like you are doing it.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I love the punishment. So,
You keep coming back for more.
it's interesting, man. This business. I was a little kid when I got started, and in '95, I was just a kid.
Yeah.
With like literally a little kid with a guitar, and started a band called Wish, and Wish turned into a band called Mars Electric, same band, and we signed a deal with Atlantic Records, and that was my first foray, if you will, into the whole, major label system, the whole music business system, and then from there, this business is extremely, extremely weird because you just never know where you're going to end up from day to day. One day you're unsigned playing a little bitty bar, and then the next day you're playing a arena opening up for Stone Temple Pilots. And
That's
then
crazy.
I mean, literally every day. The band that I'm in now, Lynham, is we've been together since 2001. So we've been together for 14 years now. And our schedule, talk about the craziest schedule in the world. We did a record deal with Universal in 2006, and we've released several records. I think we've got 7 full lengths out now, and we've got a new one that'll be coming out in the next few months called Bombshell. But talk about scheduling. I guess a couple of years ago, if you were to look at our schedule, you would laugh because it was like Friday night, at some big venue, Saturday night at some other venue, Sunday night at Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center, which is the big Coliseum here, playing with Godsmack. And then the very next night, big time wings, like a wing joint. So literally, it's you never know what you're going to get in this business. You never know where you're going to go. Some nights you're playing with big bands. Some nights you are the big band. It just depends on the market, depends on the territory. But it's very ups and downs and schizophrenic and kind of multiple personalities. It's like all over the place. And the thing with the music business, it will absolutely break your heart over and over and over again. You have to do it because you love it for no other reason but because you absolutely love it and it's in you,
Well, just reading through some of the ups and downs that you've had, things planned, scheduled, ready to roll, and then all of a sudden, no. You get the no, and you have to change course and you have to adapt. That must do weird things to your psyche, like you were describing, being on the big stage, and then 2 days later or the next night it's wing night. Which is it? In your head, you're probably thinking, which is it? I'm getting the, am I a local hero or am I going to be on that big stage from here on? I guess you can never expect that you're always going to be on the big stage.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. It's you literally just never know. I won an Emmy award, I guess 2 or 3 years ago, and when I got nominated, I didn't even go because people like me don't win Emmys. You know what I mean? It's like Tom Cruise is going to get an Emmy or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Big person's going to get an Emmy. So we were actually playing a show like in a little dive bar, and then I got a text. We're it's the end of the night, and we're road crews loading out, and we're standing there talking to some fans, signing some autographs and stuff, and then I get a text that says, "Holy shit, dude, you won!" And it's like, wow, literally, you just never know. You just never know what's going to happen.
Well, congratulations on that. I mean, being nominated is one thing, but then winning in your category is huge. So that's great.
Yeah, thank you very much,
What
man. I
was it
appreciate
for?
that.
What was the project?
It was from music on television, some music for the CW network.
Oh, nice, cool.
Yeah,
I've been a music fan my whole life. I was born in 1969, so the mid 70s on up. You know, of course, starting with my parents' record collection and then moving forward. You know, I was a fan of all the big acts. You know, larger than life stuff. You know, the Rolling Stones, the Who, well, hell, Elvis. You know, the Beatles before that, and then Van Halen. So in your head, as a music fan, you think once you have an album out, life is totally different, and this is what you do, and you get paid millions of dollars, and you're riding around in the limousines all the time, and you're having fun, and you're doing everything that comes along with that rock and roll lifestyle. And I kind of thought that right up until the late 80s, but then the 90s everything changed. You know, the style of music that I love was no longer in vogue anymore. It was grunge, and things just took a bit of a turn. And not to knock the grunge guys, I mean, there's a lot of successful people that came out of that scene, but it just always seemed like such a downer to me, and I couldn't relate. You know, then being in my early 20s, that wasn't my kind of music. What was it like for you growing up? What kind of stuff did you identify with early, and what was that 90s period like for you?
well, it's interesting because I really grew up in the '90s,
Yeah,
you know, because of my age and everything. But I got into music in the '80s when I was a little bitty kid, like riding around with my mom because my mom was always a big music
see,
fan.
that's what I
Her,
had
her
too.
yeah, her favorite band was Whitesnake, you know,
Oh, nice.
I remember, you know, she would ride around blasting the self-titled Whitesnake album, the one that came
Huge.
out in '87,
Yeah,
that had
huge.
"Feel the Night" and "Is This Love" and you know, "Here I Go Again" and all that stuff, you know. So she would blast that in the car, and I was instantly hooked. I loved it, and she took me to my first concert when I was a kid, and it was Whitesnake and Great White.
Oh
Um,
boy, nice.
so growing up, it was just me and my mom, and she was a single mom, and we grew up without anything really. You know, just there was no money, there was no anything. I went and mowed 3 lawns for $20 a pop, saved up $60, and went to the local music store that's still here in Birmingham. It's called Highland Music, and the shop owner Don Murdoch sold me a guitar for $60,
Wow.
which is all the money that I had, and it was a Memphis guitar. That was the name brand of it. And it had a broken off headstock, but he had super glued it back on for me where it would where it was, you know, usable, and um you know, which was really cool. And at this point, you know, when I was a kid, Headbangers Ball was really big, and you know, bands like Motley Crue and Poison and
Sure.
Kiss, and Kiss had already taken off the makeup by this point, so I missed the whole '70s version of Kiss. But I got into Kiss in the '80s, and I went back and rediscovered all the makeup stuff. But because music is so personal, and because music, you know, like I can tell you right now that Appetite for Destruction is the greatest record that's ever made, and you might think, well, it's a good record, but you know what? Rolling Stones' Let It Bleed is better. And the thing is music is such a personal thing. It's about memories. People tell me all the time of albums that they think are the greatest records in the world, and I'll listen to them and I won't even think they're very good, and then I realize it's because that person has a great memory attached to it from when they were a kid or from when they were a teenager or from when they were in college or whatever. And that's why the record is so great. It's all about the time and place. But to answer your question, my time and place, you know, even though I was growing up in the '90s and everything, you know, there was Nirvana, there was Green Day, there was, you know, Third Eye Blind, all
Right.
those types of bands. I always, like you, I always latched onto those larger than life bands that I remembered from my childhood. I loved, you know, reading through Metal Edge and Hit Parader and Circus and all that stuff when I was a
Cream.
kid, just looking at the pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's the other one.
it's like, yeah, it's like you would see all these people that were larger than life, but literally they looked like the superheroes that were in the comic books that I read. It's like when I saw Motley Crue, you know, the whole blood session with all the blood
Oh
pictures
yeah.
that Niels Osweiler took. It's like they look like superheroes, and it's like that's what I wanted to be. That's what I latched onto, and you know, even through the '90s and everything, when I was, you know, started putting bands together and everything else, it's like I still always wanted to